is the European Union falling apart. Right now, as you watch this, Europe is experiencing something it hasn't seen since World War II. The world's former superpower is falling behind. And in a second, I'll show you why this matters for your money, your future, and the global economy. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is that Europe's crisis isn't about war or disease. It's being destroyed by an invisible enemy, an enemy they built themselves. Here's what's happening. Europe's economy has been stuck in slow motion for 2 decades. While America and China raced ahead, Europe fell into a trap. Wait until you hear what that trap actually is. The numbers are brutal. Since the year 2000, Europe's economy grew by just 1.1% per year. America, 2.3%. China, 8.5%. This is where it gets disturbing. An entire generation of Europeans now expects to be poorer than their parents. But that's just the symptom. Here's the twist nobody talks about. Europe didn't just grow slower, it stopped innovating entirely. Of the world's top 20 tech companies, exactly 0 are European. 0. And here's what caused it. While Silicon Valley moved fast and broke things, Europe wrote regulations, GDPR, Digital Markets Act, AI Act, each one designed to protect citizens. But wait until you hear the cost. Europe's best tech founders now flee to America. The brain drain is real. In a second, I'll show you how this connects to something even bigger. Because the economic stagnation triggered a political earthquake. And this is where it all starts to unravel. Across Europe, nationalist parties are surging. France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is the establishment is collapsing. Governments are falling faster than anyone predicted. In France, Macron just survived a no-confidence vote. His government paralyzed. In Germany, the coalition collapsed. For the first time in decades, they can't form a stable government. Italy, they're on their 68th government since World War II. This is the part they don't want you to know. The institutions themselves are fracturing. And here's where it all connects. Trust in the European Union has hit all-time lows. People are asking, why do we need Brussels at all? But this isn't just about politics. There's a deeper structural flaw, one that was built into Europe's DNA from the beginning, the euro itself. And here's the twist, it was designed to fail. One currency, 27 different national budgets, no shared debt, no fiscal union. Wait until you hear why this matters. Here's how it works. Germany uses the euro to export BMWs to Spain. Spain can't devalue their currency to compete, so Spanish factories close, workers lose jobs, but Germany keeps winning. Germany runs massive trade surpluses. Southern Europe drowns in debt, and they can't escape because they're locked in the same currency. Remember Greece? They nearly left the euro entirely. Millions fell into poverty overnight. In a second, I'll show you why this could happen again. Because Brussels' solution was austerity. Cut spending, shrink the economy, make people suffer. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is the euro turned Europe into 2 separate worlds, North versus South, creditor versus debtor. Northern politicians blame the South for being lazy. Wait until you hear the real reason.
The euro keeps Germany's currency artificially cheap. If Germany still had the Deutsche Mark, it would be worth 30% more. Their exports would collapse. The euro is a hidden subsidy for German industry. And here's what nobody tells you. Southern Europe is subsidizing northern competitiveness through their own economic pain. This is the part they don't want you to know. European elites know this. They designed it this way. Because Germany's exports keep the whole system alive. But Italian youth unemployment hit 40%. Spanish, 35%. And the system just continues. Now protests demand exit. Italy-exit, Frexit, the whole project could unravel. But here's where it all comes together. If one major country leaves the euro, the domino effect begins. And here's what Brussels is doing about it. Ursula von der Leyen just announced the biggest spending program in EU history. Industrial policy, green transition, digital sovereignty, hundreds of billions of euros. But wait until you hear where this money is actually going. Subsidies for European champions. Translation, bailouts for French and German corporations. In a second, I'll show you what this means for investors. They're trying to build semiconductor fabs, battery factories. The goal, compete with China and America. But here's the problem, they're already 20 years behind, and the gap keeps growing. This is where it affects your wallet. Investors are pulling capital out of Europe fast. European stocks have underperformed America by 200% over the last decade. 200%. Where's the money going? US tech stocks, Asian growth markets, anything but Europe. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is European pension funds are locked into these underperforming assets. Millions of retirees are paying the price. Meanwhile, American private equity is buying European companies at bargain prices. Wait until you hear what this means long term. Europe risks becoming an economic colony, owned by American tech giants, dependent on Chinese manufacturing. In a second, I'll show you the final twist. Because Europe's loss isn't just economic, it's geopolitical. They're no longer at the head table. NATO still depends on America. Energy still depends on imports. Technology still depends on others. The question isn't whether Europe changes, it's how. More fragmentation or deeper union? A new generation is demanding answers. They won't accept stagnation. But here's what nobody can predict. In Chinese, the word for crisis combines two characters: danger and opportunity. Europe still has incredible talent, world-class universities, deep capital markets. The question is whether they'll unleash it, or whether the weight of bureaucracy, nationalism, and structural flaws will drag them down. For investors, this is the trade of the decade. Bet on European decline or bet on renewal. The European Union is at a crossroads, and what happens next will reshape the global economy for generations. The only question is, will you see it coming? If this opened your eyes to what's really happening in Europe, hit that like button and subscribe to Clarity Lab X for more hidden economic truths. Drop a comment below. Do you think the EU will survive, or is fragmentation inevitable? Let's discuss.